since I posted a video. I just never did get around to posting anything last week. I've been quite busy, but it hasn't been a lot of stuff that I could actually share. One, because I was working with Dyan's new release, which I'm sure you have seen. She came out with, I think it was like 6 stamp sets maybe, and 3 stencils. I've been having a lot of fun with them. And so that's what I've been playing with, but, you know, obviously I couldn't share until the release came out. So I have some things. I didn't record everything, but you would have seen some stuff on my Instagram already. And this is a page. It's actually just a plain Dylusions creative journal, but I'm going to be using this now instead of the creative diary because I want to have a little more freedom in the layout. Now, since I've switched to it, I've actually been struggling with trying to figure out how I want to do it. And yet when I had the creative diary, it's like I felt so stifled, like because I wanted to go off what was already there. And I didn't like having a page with a background already on it. But now that I have the freedom, I feel a little, I don't know, like, what do I do? But I'm sure I'll get into it. And it probably also doesn't help that the prep that I've been doing is for May. And we're still in April. So, you know, I think it's one of those things that I'm probably going to do, I don't know, with each day, at least until I get the hang of having the freedom of a blank journal. Once I get used to using a blank journal for the creative diary, then maybe I'll be able to do a little more prep work beforehand for the week. So I know you've seen I have those stamped images there, and I thought I was recording when I was coloring them, and then I looked up at one point to stop the camera, and I saw that it actually hadn't been running that whole time. It was turned on, but the record button had not been pushed. So I am sorry for that. But all I did was just color it with Copics. I didn't do anything fancy, just regular coloring. And I used a lot of stamp sets in this, and I will list them all in the description down below because there's a lot of them. I used a lot of products in this spread. So I wanted to have the whole entire background colored in. At first, that's not what I was going to do, but it ended up being what I did. And it was taking too long to try and color around with a paintbrush, so that's why I took the nozzle part out of the Dylusion spray, because I was getting much more ink that way than I was out of the brush. And I was going to mix a couple pinks, but it wasn't looking how I wanted it to look, so I just stuck with bubblegum pink. And I made sure my paper was wet too, because it helped it spread. Because I kind of somewhat wanted a little bit of like a watercolor look, but I love the colors of the Dylusion sprays, so I wanted to work with those. So once I got the ink down and I sprayed it with water, I just moved it around with my brush. And I had let that dry because I think I had to go off and do something else. And then I just wet my page again, and then I added the lemon zest. And I did that whole smushing thing because I thought it would be a whole lot quicker in getting the page filled with the color than trying to spread it all myself. And I don't know if this is something I'm going to want to do all the time, like have the page completely covered in color. I really don't know. The first, I don't know how many pages will probably be just learning and getting a feel for what it is I want to do. So I may have a lot of pages in the beginning that I don't like because I'll be experimenting. So as you saw, I used some fossilized amber distress archival ink. And I just want to create a border around the page, but I didn't want it like super bold, so I didn't stamp it in the black. That's why I'm using the fossilized amber. And I really like how these look for a border. So I have a mixture of old and new happening on this spread. Let's see if I can find the name of the stamps that I used. I think these two are from, oh, I don't know. Plenty of Fish in the Sea? I don't know. I have them all written down anyways, and like I said, I'll put it in the description box down below. I know I showed it in the video, but I was too busy gabbing. So I don't think future pages will have this much going on, but these two pages are just going to basically be like a little intro into the month. So I'm going in there with basic backgrounds, the diamond pattern, just to get a little bit of the pattern in with pink. And I kind of regretted doing it. Like, it's no huge deal, but I don't know. I could do without it. So here we have Dyan's new stamps, and I love these. So we have that calendar piece, and that one is, I believe, from Check It Out. And then we have the month that I just put away, and that's boxed monthly. The boxed monthly, and then the, I'm not sure what it's called, but the ones with the days of the week. Those two are my favorite. I just love the font in a box. I just love it. I've been using them in a dialogue that I'm kind of doing more like, kind of like a personal, not a diary, but I guess a diary of some sort. It's like I'm not going deep into feelings or anything in what I'm writing down, but I'm just using it to capture little bits from the day, like things that maybe I want to remember and look back on, but I'm not using it for appointments or anything. Now, it's fine if I go to an appointment and I have a memory from it, like something funny that happened or whatever, but I'm not doing it as like, you know, don't forget you have this coming up. It's not that sort of thing. Like, I don't fill it in until that night, or sometimes even the next day. So it's just like a memory keeper sort of thing. And this one will be more like, well, basically exactly how I use the Creative Diary. So we'll see if I keep this up. I haven't done the Creative Diary in a couple months maybe. I think it was March. Yeah, because I did that gel printing challenge. It was a super crazy busy month. So I just allowed myself to take a break from the Creative Diary because I was forgetting to add stuff to it, and I knew I was just going to continue to forget, so I didn't even bother like decorating the spread and getting it ready because I knew I wouldn't use it, and then I would just have blank pages in my journal. So we'll see how this one goes. I feel like I need to create a spot somewhere in my room close to my work island for things that I want to deal with every single day. And it needs to be like really in my eyesight, like on my island. Almost in the way, but not quite in the way. So I need to figure out what it is I'm going to do with them so I remember to deal with it every single day. So one thing I've noticed when using the stamps, and it's not a problem with the stamps, it's me, like sometimes like the page won't be completely flat, or I didn't position the stamp in a good spot on the acrylic block and something was in its way. So I'll stamp and I don't get a great image, like a little bit of the part will be missing. And for me personally, I've noticed I'm not always the greatest at getting it lined up again. And so when I have tried to line it up again and re-stamp it, it looks awful. So what I have learned to do is to not try and go back over it a second time. Instead, I just take my black pen and fill in the little spots that I missed. And it looks so much better than me trying to restamp it and being off and it just looking horrible. So I'm just putting that out there just in case, you tend to do the same thing. It really does look so much better just going in with a black pen and going over the lines that are very faint. So I love the idea of this like squid or octopus or whatever this thing is supposed to be as a hat and hair. Like, I don't even know if it's really meant as a hat and a hair, but it just looks so cool to me. I think that it's on the like skull head. I don't know. It just makes me laugh whenever I look at it. So I'm going in with some more bubblegum pink in one of those watercolor brushes, and I'm only filling in that one style of flower. I thought about going in and painting all the flowers, but my patience was like, no, don't even start. Because if you start, you're going to have to finish. So don't do it. Just stick to the one. And luckily I listened to myself and I did not do the rest. And plus, I think it would have been too much and too busy. So I'm glad I didn't color in the rest. So these are some of Dyan's old dialogue stamps. And there's still so many of these that I love and I will continue to use even though she has the new ones. Because they're just too good not to use. And I love this little scallop border. And that acrylic block I'm using, that actually comes with one of the Creative Diary stamp sets. You get a thin little acrylic block. I like the size of it, but I think I would like it better if it was thicker, because with it being so thin, I find it hard getting a hold of it, and I usually get ink all over my fingers. And since playing with these stamps, oh my goodness, the number of times I have dropped the acrylic block with the inked stamp on it. Oh my goodness. In this book and in my dialogue, there's a lot of ink on it on my books from me dropping the stamp. But luckily, once you add everything else, you kind of forget about it. So I try not to stress about it too much. So I'm just creating a little box here, and this is going to be a spot for me to put like birthdays, anniversaries, stuff like that, just important dates for the month of May. May is a really busy month for my family. lots of birthdays. So that's the Creative Diary set 2. And on the edge is the scallop border. I was trying to think like what I wanted at the beginning of my monthly spread. Like I was trying to think of it in a way like kind of like bullet journaling, but not being so structured, but trying to think of what it is that you may put at the beginning of your month. So I went with just, the calendar and a spot for anniversaries and birthdays, and then like a to-do list. Well, it's Dyan Stamps, so it says to don't. But I wanted a place to jot down all the things that maybe I have due, like if I have a Ranger tutorial or I don't know, a YouTube video that I want to get put up, like just things that I don't want to forget that I have going on. And then I think under that I just left a little spot for like notes. I don't know, I think that's what I did. We'll see. So I'm just using the Dylusions paint pens to color in the border. And I am still so far having good luck with her paint pens. All except for the black and white. But all the color ones are working perfectly. So I am quite happy about that. I mean, it would be nice if I could get the black and white ones to work properly, but I'm not as worried about that because it's easy to get black and white in the Poscas, but super happy that her beautiful colors work, because you can't top Dyan's colors. They're just so nice and vibrant. I love them. So here I am making my to don't list, and I'm using one of Dyan's stamps from her new set. I think it's Mini Doodles. So I'm going to use the lines. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing it right, but to me it throws me off where it's like one line and then two lines together. So that throws me off a little bit. But I did something, and I'm sure it'll work out just fine. I did think about cutting them apart so I would have one single line or the two lines, and I still might do that. I'm gonna wait and see what videos Dyan puts out, because maybe once I see how she uses it, then I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me now. And I'll just leave it as is. But if not, I think I'm going to separate and have it so that one line that's away from the double lines is separate. And then if I want to use it all together, I still can. I just place it on the acrylic block as such. So the little square ones, I'm just inking the very last square, and I'm putting it in the big space, and that is where I will write my little notes. I'm pretty sure I go around this one with a border stamp as well. Not sure which one I use though. And this will be my little notes section. I have to tell you a little funny story. It's whatever. It's not really a story, but anyway. My husband came home for lunch and he said, "Guess what you forgot this week?" And I'm thinking and I can't think of a single thing. I'm like, I don't know what I forget. He's like, our anniversary. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we got married in September. And I'm like, our anniversary? And he's like, when we started dating? And he's like, on the 23rd? And I'm like, oh, our dating. I'm like, you mean the 28th? We started dating on the 28th of April. He was like, damn it. He thought he caught me. But still, I mean, it was pretty good. He remembered, and I wouldn't. That's today, and I had forgotten. It totally slipped my mind. So I think he still remembered, and I forgot. I'm going to give it to him. Even though he had the date wrong, I'm going to give it to him. But considering he didn't say anything to me on the 23rd when he thought it was our anniversary, I think he kind of forgot too. So it was still funny though. So I think we're going to go out for supper today. My son works, so I think the two of us will go out. We don't always do something for our anniversary. We rarely even do anything for our wedding anniversary, but oh well. Sometimes I'm just going to say yes because I don't want to cook today. I'll use our anniversary as an excuse. I'm okay with that. So I thought I would add some collage elements to this page too because I wanted a little bit more going on, but I didn't want to, honestly, I didn't want to stamp more images and have to color them. That is really why I went with collage. It's just so much easier. And then I found the piece with the octopus on the head and I thought, perfect, it ties it in. And the colors worked out well too. I really need to play with Dyan's collage some more. It's been way too long. And every time I see the images on Instagram or something, I'm like, oh, I miss playing with her collage. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I miss doing it. There's just not enough time in the day to do everything. All the things I want to play with. Yeah, I was tracing around the face and my pen slipped and it went on her face. So I just added more loose lines and made it look like I meant to do it on purpose and that it was just very loose, sketchy lines. And then I did some more around the octopus to make it look convincing. And then, of course, I had to add a little fishy. I forgot I was going to draw a line from her hand or where her hand would be down to the fish, like she's walking the fish on a leash, to make it a little more quirky. This paper that I'm using, that I'm coloring the Copics, that is a marker paper. It's not anything expensive. It's just the Artist Loft brand at Michael's. And I find it works fine. I mean, for my knowledge of coloring with Copics anyways, like I haven't used any fancy expensive stuff. So to me, this works just fine. I'm sure if I compared it to other stuff, I would probably realize that it's not that great, maybe. I don't know, but it works for what I want it for. But I will say, make sure whatever is under that piece of paper is not important. Like, protect whatever's underneath, because the marker does go through, because it was going through and going onto my journal page. So there, I'm going back in with that scallop border. I just love that stamp. And I know scallops are easy to draw, but whenever I do them and I add the little dot, it always just looks like boobs. It really does. So I think I will stick to using Dyan's stamp. And I'm sorry if all you see now are boobs. But I don't think hers looks like it as much. Like, I think the problem when I do them, like, you notice how she kind of does like a big, small, and she only puts a dot in every other one. When I used to draw them, I put a dot in every single one. So I think that's why mine look like a bunch of boobs and hers doesn't. And I am just going around the whole entire page with this border stamp, and I really like how it turned out. There's a lot of different stuff on here used, and it's kind of like a mix match of everything, but it's not too bad. So I hope you enjoyed it, and when I have more pages done in here, I will share them with you. So have a great weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye. Thanks so much for stopping by. Let me know if you like my videos by leaving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also head over to my Instagram account and say hi to me over there. If you have any video requests, leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. And don't forget to check out my other videos.